Um, so maybe we can start with just quick introductions, and I'll start us off on the LHD side. Hi everyone, my name is Edwin Sun. I'm a housing planning and economic analyst in the housing department. I worked with many members of our team to write the regulations and launch the NOFA solicitation. This is actually our first office hours to provide technical assistance and policy clarifications about the NOFA. So thank you all for joining. Um, I'm joined by a couple members of our team. I'll just quickly say who they are. LHD Zoom 2 is Adam, who is supporting this, taking notes, uh, anything that we're not able to answer today, he'll help us take that up to our leadership. Um, we have Eric, Fruth, we have Greta, and Zhongyi is AJ. And uh, AJ and Eric kind of worked on putting the applications together in the UNOFA portal. And maybe I'll give you each a quick moment to introduce yourselves. Um, I'm gonna go to Eric first, and maybe you can just popcorn it over, Eric.
Hi, everybody. Good to meet you all virtually. As Edwin said, my name is Eric. I worked on building out the application portal with AJ and many others. And yeah, here to answer any questions. Go ahead, AJ.
Hi, my name is AJ. Um, yeah, I usually work on the technical side of affordable housing. My job is to manage different applications and develop applications. Very nice to meet you. Um, yeah, I don't know who's next. Uh, Back to Ludwig, maybe.
Greta, do you wanna go next, Greta? Maybe some technical difficulties. I see Elizabeth might be having technical difficulties. Adam, do you want to introduce yourself to this group? You may already have.
Howdy, folks. Yeah, you introduced me. It's all good. My name's Adam. Doing this forever. That's life and stuff. I'm boring. Don't worry. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. I'm trying to figure out the communications part for the people who came in.
Yep. Okay. So thank you again for your interest in this solicitation. Um, do any of the potential applicants want to start by talking briefly about the projects that you're envisioning, the program that you want to apply to, and any technical clarifications that you'd like for us to provide?
Sure. Why don't I start off? My name is Larry Katada. I'm the Director of Asset Management for Little Tokyo Service Center, LTSC. We are applying for different projects, and the reason why I attended today's office hours is I guess I had a question more in terms of like a lot of these properties are limited partnerships, right? Or LLCs or something to that effect. And we obviously within the limited partnership, it's not just the managing general partner, it's like co-general partners. So I guess in terms of applying for these ULA applications, is there any which way of how we should be applying? Should it be the managing general partner of these limited partnerships applying? Is it okay for a co-general partner to apply? If Because what we're finding is like some of our co-general partners want to apply on behalf of the partnership because they have capacity to do the work, right? For instance, operating assistance. They would want to have us the property apply, but they're just a co-general partner, not just a co-general partner, but you know what I mean in terms of they're just a partner in the deal. So I'm wondering whether there's some sort of structure on how these applications need to be submitted.
Thanks, Larry. We've received a lot of questions in that same vein, and the answer is complicated. I'm going to try to provide an answer as far as how we think about it and how we approach that question here, but uh, really, I think the final word will come when we push a response to this group of questions in our Q&As that we post to the website. So, um, as I'm sure most of you saw from reading the NOFA regs and attending the bidders conference, there are quite a few requirements that we ask of the entire development team. And so we were trying to provide some flexibility in allowing different team configurations to satisfy those many requirements. So I'm sure, Larry, that you're thinking, for example, of there is a requirement in all of the social housing ULA programs that there be experience in tenant governance, and we require a member of the project team to have that experience. And we're trying not to be um, overly prescriptive about what exactly that form of relationship has to take. Um, uh, we would like to be open to allowing contract relationships to satisfy some of those requirements. Maybe you can show us an MOU with an entity that has certain parts of experience in your development team, and you can demonstrate that to us in the application. As far as who would fill out the application and who would hit send on the application, I would say that we have a pretty strong preference that the most experienced developer, the most experienced development partner within the development team fill out that application. Obviously, there's the there's kind of like the pre-development part of it. There's the construction, there's the project, there's the property management aspect of it. And all of those, we need to see experience in all of those things. But as I said earlier, we want to be flexible in allowing um, project teams to come in with maybe different partners who have experience in those specific areas to together show that experience is satisfied among the entire development team. Does that answer your question, or do
It
you want to clarify?
does, and I think it makes sense in areas where we're applying for maybe one of, the preservation or acquisition or rehab larger pots that I was looking at it more in terms of just the operating assistance only. Um, so I'm wondering whether even just for the operating assistance, whether that experience, the developer experience would be even, required or factored in into submitting, because I think it's more or less for the ones that we want our co-general partners to help with applying for is the one is just the operating assistance funding only, and not, we understand for the ones that require like the tenant governance that for those LTSC would need to submit for that. So we understand that, but I think I should have clarified that this question is purely for operating assistance.
Maybe there's something I'm missing about the your vision for this operating assistance project. It sounds like you're talking about a project where you have a partner who's maybe operating the project, but you will also be applying for rehabilitation funds along with the operating, or are you just talking about purely coming in to ask for the operating assistance money only?
So if it's for the particular entity itself, that entity, so let's say it's like uh uh you know Larry partnership, right? Or whatever, right? That partnership is only and that Larry partnership consists of myself and another partner, right? That other partner is the managing general partner, uh, right? So KYCC is actually the managing general partner for this partnership, right? For this partnership, they want to just apply for operating assistance. In the meantime, LTSC for separate properties, right? We are planning to apply for our own, for those set of properties, but our name is attached to those set of properties as well. But if that makes sense, I don't know if that
I,
helps at all.
I'm still a little confused. Is your partner the current owner of the property for which you're applying for operating assistance?
If you define owner as the managing general partner, yes.
Okay. Um, it I think I'm understanding the situation that you're describing. Um, I I don't want to I don't want to be too I don't want to commit our department to anything, but it sounds like if this project operator and owner needs funds to continue successfully operating their project with some financial cushion, and you're only one of several managing general partners, it makes sense to me that the other partner that has an ownership stake in the project can be the entity that submits the application.
Okay, I see.
I just wanted to be clear that we would not entertain operating assistance applicants from people who are not already owning that project, that owning and operating that project, right?
Right, right. But it would be fine if they have some ownership stake within that property, correct?
Yes,
So long as they have some ownership stake within that partnership, they can apply.
that's right. So I I I assume there could be some capacity issue of either manpower or additional expertise that your organization LTSC is bringing into that partnership. We have um, always been open um, to entities partnering up with others to establish and bring in additional capacity. So we would view that as them being the applicant and you providing helping them check a few extra boxes.
Okay, I see. Okay, that clarifies things. So
So uh I just want to make sure that it's clear that we will um nothing that is said in this office hours is completely official. What's official is what we post to our website, and all of this is being recorded. We will transcribe all of these as Q&A and then post them on our Homes for LA webpage, just
okay,
for all of everybody's reference.
sounds good. Thank you. Thank you, Edward.
Okay. Did you have any other? Maybe we should come back to you if you have additional ones. I saw Stephen Clark, you went off mute. Did you want to ask a question?
Yes. Hi, Edward. For the ULA alt model new construction, first of all, I'm Stephen Clark, Vice President with AmCal. We are a for-profit developer. But for the ULA alt model new construction, we would be submitting um, as an eligible applicant because we'll have an LP, and the managing general partner of the LP will be a nonprofit. So does that limited partnership need to be formed at the time of application, or if we just identify the participants or the members or the partners in the limited partnership, is that sufficient?
Um, we received that question from you, I think, last week.
Not, I didn't ask that particular question. I asked a different question, but I didn't submit that question.
Interesting. Well, someone asked a very similar question to this one last week. I I would prefer to confer with our leadership before answering that
Okay.
particular one. Um, just so you know, we we do require I can tell you that we do require quite a bit of information about the limited partnership at the time of the application. We ask that you um let us know your plans for who the limited partner will be / investor, who the managing general partner will be, their percentage breakdowns of the ownership stake, so the equity stake division between the various partners. So all of that information is part of your application and has to be submitted. What I would like to clarify with our leadership is how fully baked that LP agreement has to be at the time of the application. So I'm sorry I can't answer that right now, but we will get back to you.
Okay, great.
Did you have any other questions that I can try to answer?
Yeah, I have a lot of questions. So if anyone else wants to go, we can just do turns, I guess. But
I was gonna ask a question. Well, I guess this is Sean Samuelian. I recently started an affordable housing company. I've been doing affordable housing since I was in college. And I'm 25 years old, so bear with me on the questions if they're not so smart questions. But the first question I have is if the phase one requires a phase two and the phase two is dirty, for example, one of our sites has an oil well that needs to be abandoned. Will that affect the ability to apply, or will that affect competitiveness? Or do you guys just want to see the phase two that shows that?
That is a very good question. We ask for the phase one and potentially the phase two as part of a complete application package. I am not aware of us separately scoring for problems raised by either the phase one or I mean, you only have a phase two if your phase
Need
one
one. Yeah.
surfaced something. I'm not aware. In fact, we do not have any specific scoring speaking to there being issues with either the phase one or the phase two. However, for uh, both the new construction and preservation programs, a big scoring factor is overall project feasibility. And if our underwriters determine that, um, there are very very serious risks associated with your with remediation issues raised by your phase two, or that I mean you will show your costs associated with those remediations if our underwriters determine that there's that those costs are too high, or that that remediation will significantly slow down your project. We reserve the right to dock you for feasibility.
Okay. Got it. And then one more question. When we're determining the 30% total development cost, that includes land, hard costs, soft costs, financing, and developer fee as well, that you would ask for the tax credits, for example.
That's right.
Okay.
We received a lot of public comment at various stages. We continue to receive public comment about whether a deferred developer fee should be in or out of TDC calculations. We received a lot of um, uh, you know, in a lot of we have received very differing recommendations about how to calculate paper costs. Um, for the purposes of this office hours, we have decided very clearly that deferred developer fees will be part of the TDC because you are being paid out of future project cash flow. Maybe if you decide to not take your developer fee, we can take that out. But if you're asking for developer fee, that's going to go into the TDC. We think that's fair. Um, on a case-by-case basis, if you have certain paper costs, such as donated land that truly will not add to your costs at all, on a case-by-case basis, we will entertain um, recalculating your TDC to account for that. But in general, we want the TDC to capture as many costs as possible.
Okay. Got it. And then one more quick question. So we're working with a nonprofit with a lot of experience, of course, and they're helping with the application. But if the I guess, how do I ask this? If you ask for less than 30%, like you don't need 30%, do you get benefits for that? I haven't specifically looked at the application to see how that's scored, but
There is a cost effectiveness criterion, half of which is based on your relative ranking for TDC per square foot, per square foot, um, relative to all other applications in your program. And then the other half of the cost effectiveness is it's quite brutal, is based on your you will get 0 points in that category if you in the second half of the cost effectiveness if you request your maximum amount.
okay.
So
So don't
every
ask maximum.
well every little bit that you reduce from the maximum, we will give you some points, and we have yet to establish that formula. But you will get half of the points in cost effectiveness are based on your relative ranking of TDC per square foot relative to all other applications in your pool. Other half is based on it is simply based on how much you request of the maximum.
Got it.
It's clear.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yep.
That's all I had for right now.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else? If not, I think Stephen had another question.
Yeah, I have another question. Thank you, Edwin. Section on the scoring section 7.13, that says you're going to get awarded points if you can incorporate amenities that are above the TCAC minimums. Does that refer to the site and service amenities in TCAC, in the scoring section of the TCAC application?
This is 7.13, right?
Yes.
So this is specifically for the alternative models. We if you I'm looking at it now, and it to me it seems to contemplate both on-site as well as off-site amenities.
Right. So in
Um,
the TCAC application, the site amenities, you can score up to 15 points. And then for the service amenity, you can score 10 points. Is that what it's referring to when it says above TCAC minimums? Or maybe that I would need the definition of amenities. Is amenities both site amenities and service amenities?
let me check back with the others about how we can more clearly define this. Just so you know, many of our scoring criteria were heavily negotiated with parties outside of LHD. So this is one of those, and I need to check back before I can answer you.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I do. Yeah, if it's okay.
Sure.
So I'm now on section 7.14, 7.14.
Yes.
So it says points are awarded for projects with existing commitments. So with HCD and TCAC, if there's a Section 8 overhang, it's going to count toward a subsidy. And I'm wondering, do you guys have guidance on that calculation, or should I use the TCAC standards on how to value that subsidy?
So you said it was a Section 8 overhang. So you're asking how to calculate the overhang?
No. So it would be considered an existing commitment of funds. That's how TCAC looks at it. If it's a project-based vouchers, for example, for 20 years, and there's an overhang. So that overhang portion is really a subsidy. And TCAC looks at it as a commitment of funds. So in this, the first paragraph of this section says you're going to get points for a commitment of funds equivalent to 10% or more of the project's total capital stack. So I'm wondering, do you guys have your own calculational formula for how to convert that 20-year subsidy into a commitment? Or do we defer to the TCAC way that they do it? This is a hard one, so I can submit
Yeah,
this one.
in fact, I would request that you, well, it sounds like if you're recommending that is the TCAC methodology for calculating that PBV commitment,
Yes.
um, then then we can consider that. Just we tend to defer to TCAC methodologies on most things that we don't feel like defining ourselves. So I think we'd be happy to entertain that, but no, we have not given consideration to how we have not yet given consideration to how we would calculate the value of an operating subsidy in capital terms.
Okay.
But
Um,
that's a very good point, and thank you for bringing it up. Um, I think we will have this captured in the in our transcription, and we'll raise this with our leadership. But if you have a different recommendation, feel free to email that to us.
okay. Um, on the other half, the other paragraph in that section,
Yes.
um, let's say the developer fee is 2.8 million. That's the 9% standard. But we were to contribute 1 million of that as a GP loan, general partner loan. Does that count as an equity stake in the project?
You are all very creative. I I cannot I cannot answer that. Um, we will take this to our leadership team and get back to you.
Okay. Um, I had one more under the
Yeah, go for it.
section 5, the threshold item number 2. That's the where you provide the list of all your former partnerships. Is
Yes.
that for every partnership we've ever done? The ones that we're currently in? Is it just for California, or what are you looking for in terms of that list?
I can tell you that we intended for this list to be very comprehensive.
Uh-huh.
If if your if your disclosures would be, I don't know, like 100 pages long, and you have a recommendation for a narrower set of partnerships that you should disclose, I don't know, maybe based on geography or um, maybe activity type, we can consider that. But um, our intention was for it to be a very comprehensive disclosure.
Okay. Thank you for
Do you
that,
want,
Edward.
yeah, if you want to noodle over it and send us a recommendation, we're happy to consider.
Will do.
Okay. Any other questions? Can I so I think it's just Shant, Larry, and Steven as the potential applicants. Um I'm out of curiosity, can you all go through and if you're willing to share, let me know which specific term sheets and programs you have projects that you will be submitting. Would that be okay?
Sure, I can go. So we're going to submit one project under the pooled sources. The same project we're going to do under ULA multifamily, and we're also going to do that same project under ULA alt models new construction.
Interesting. Okay. Knowing that you'll only be funded once, but you're still willing to. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Shant?
Yes, I can go next. So I'm helping another developer submit another rehab project or rehab project under the alt model preservation. He can't submit under the alt act rehab because it's not a 10 years of
Yep.
expiring covenant, and then it's going to be the pool source preservation. And I guess this would be a question I had. Can he submit also under the pooled source multifamily? Since it is a resyndication, but I don't know what it means by projects with expiring covenants. So he doesn't have an expiring covenant. He did 55 years and he built it in 2000 or 1999.
Uh, that's a tricky one. Uh, I would say that it so the
I was
project
going to email that.
has capital needs, right?
Yeah, it has capital need. It's two of them. So it's two small rehab projects. So we're going to do those two pools for sure. And we're seeing if we're going to do this last one.
I mean the I'm a little bit torn because we designed the pooled sources multifamily to do the resyndications. And if this is a tax credit deal that is trying to resyndicate with tax credits, I do think that would make more sense. On the other hand, I do believe that the TCAC regs provide some priority for um, rehab projects that do have expiring covenants, and it sounds like this one does not.
Yeah.
So I I think you need to make your own decision about which programs are right for you and would be competitive for the rest of the capital stack that you need to assemble.
Okay. That's perfect. And then I'm also going to do one multifamily new construction deal in the pooled source multifamily and the ULA multifamily.
Okay,
Yeah.
very welcome. Larry, do you want to talk about where you want to submit?
I think we're kind of still figuring out, I think, which ones we want to submit, but then I think the ones for sure are these operating assistance ones, which I was my original question. So I know at least two, three, four properties that we're applying for. Not we, this is where it's getting tricky, where like whether a separate ownership stake, like co-general partner is going to be applying on their behalf, like I mentioned. So there's that. But then I do know that we're kind of looking at some of those other pots related to new construction preservation as well. So I just still we have some other team members who are working on that currently. So
Got it.
um I don't
Okay.
want to give you like any information that's false, right? So but I
Yeah,
know the operating assistance ones that we're applying for. So
that's great. You guys are a large organization. I hope you're applying to as many as you can. And I do wanna note on the operating assistance. I imagine some of you might be applying to operating assistance on some of your existing portfolio projects. It sounds like maybe you're partnering with other developers who have troubled assets to provide additional capacity as they try to apply to the operating assistance program to stabilize themselves, and maybe your additional capacity can help. And I want to note that sponsor underwriting will be a really big consideration for those operating assistance projects. We really don't want to be pouring good money into projects that cannot save themselves even with operating assistance money. And if we were to be given two if we were to be faced with two projects, all else being equal, but one project with a stronger a sponsor with more financial strength and more financial capacity to help make that project be successful in the future, we will choose the um the partnership that has more financial backing.
But then I guess my question is then going back to my original question about applying, like we can't apply for like even though like this one property which we have no ownership stake at all, we're like the asset management company. So we technically manage things for this one property, even though we have no ownership stake whatsoever. But it doesn't sound like we can apply for that one because we have no ownership stake, even though we're kind of pretty much involved, almost like a sponsor of sorts, to help that property out. So that I guess so long as that's clarified within maybe the narrative, maybe that would help, I'm guessing.
Yeah, so maybe let me state a question for us to confer with our leadership team. And so I think the question is, for a project applying to the operating assistance program and maybe needing to show um more financial strength among the sponsors, would we consider counting a non-owning an entity, a partner with no ownership stake among the sponsors? And I think maybe, for example, an entity that is providing asset management or property management services. So I don't think we have a clear answer for you on that, Larry, but um we can provide some guidance after we meet.
Okay, great. No, thank you very much.
Okay. We still have 19 minutes left, but I think we might have gotten to the end of the questions that this group has. Is that right?
I don't have any more questions. Thank you.
Those were all
Yeah.
my questions as well.
Okay. Well, thank you all for making the time to join us for our first office hours. As a reminder, we hold these office hours every Tuesday and Thursday afternoon. You can sign up to join additional ones in the future, and these will be offered throughout the NOFA open period. So appreciate your time. Again, the answers provided here are not official, but we want to be able to provide you more insight into our thinking, and you will find official answers to all of the questions in the Q&A documents that we post to the Homes for LA NOFA website.
Thank you so much.
Great, thank you.
Thank you
Yeah.
all.
You
For the
have a good.
LAHD folks that have stayed on, Adam, do you need us to stay on in order to generate AI meeting notes, or I
Oh,
didn't
no,
check on
I've already, the transcript saved. I'll send it over. And well, I'll have to resave it once I stop talking because it continues going. I'm turning off the recording right now, which
Okay.
will